This is an installation video for the 7-wide gum and mint tray from Vendors Exchange International. For this installation, you will need either a Phillips screwdriver or a cordless screwdriver with a Phillips bit, a portable light, and a 1/8 inch drill bit. Included in the kit are the main gum and mint tray assembly, including the tray harness bracket and the tray harness, a jumper board, cabinet harness bracket, Phillips screws, alcohol swab, wire ties and tie mounts, 4 shims. Before you start, remember to turn off and unplug the vending machine. The first step in this installation is to remove the bottom 2 trays directly above the old gum and mint tray. To remove the gum and mint tray, locate the bracket that holds the factory harness in place. It's located underneath the tray. Remove the screws from the harness and let it hang. Then, remove the screws from each side of the bracket. For the AP 123A, 123B, and 123C machines, remove the 4 screws under the old gum tray that hold it in place. Slide the gum tray out of the machine. Next, you will need to remove and relocate the left guide rail located on the gum tray shelf. Take out the blockout plate by removing the 2 screws located underneath the plate on the flange of the shelf. Remove the locking tab by taking out the 2 screws located underneath the tab on the flange of the shelf. The blockout plate may be discarded as it is not needed for the installation. Reinstall the locking tab on the left side of the machine. Remove the guide rail from the shelf by unscrewing the 4 screws holding it in place. Slide the rail over to the bottom left side of the machine. Replace the 4 screws to secure the rail into its new location. The next step pertains to installations on AP 113s, AP 123s, and AP 123As. If you are working on an AP 123B or 123C, then you can now slide the new gum tray into the machine and proceed from there. For an AP 113, open the inner door on the right side of the machine and locate the control board. You may need to unlock and remove the MDB validator to access the wires on the control board. Detach the motor harness from the lower right-hand corner of the board. Then, attach the cabinet harness to the pin connector on the top of the jumper board included in the kit. Connect the jumper board to the pins where the motor harness was originally attached. Take the included cabinet harness and attach the smaller end to the remaining connector pins on the jumper board. If you are working with a VEII universal control board, then you will need to detach more harnesses to attach the jumper board. Proceed to detach the CoinMech harness, the MDB harness, and the motor. Then, attach the cabinet harness to the pin connector on the top of the jumper board included in the kit. Attach the jumper board to the control board where the motor harness was located. Take the included cabinet harness and attach the smaller end to the remaining connector pins on the jumper board. Reconnect all the harnesses you previously unplugged. If you are installing the tray on an AP 123, remove the cover plate from the control board to install the jumper board. Take the jumper board and attach it to the motor pins located at the bottom right-hand corner of the board. Reinstall the cover, making sure to fit the bottom of it between the pins and main assembly of the jumper board. Reattach the other connectors. Connect the motor connector to the jumper board you just installed. Attach the cabinet harness to the remaining connector pins on the jumper board. Route the cabinet harness behind the inner door and let it fall to the bottom shelf. Use wire ties to dress the loose harness to the machine. You will need to remove the factory cabinet bracket from the plastic mount and use a wire tie to adhere it to the channel at the back of the machine. Then use a scraper to remove the plastic mount. At this point, you can use the provided alcohol swab to clean the lower right-hand corner of the machine. This is where you will attach the harness bracket. For the AP123A, you will need to remove and relocate the old gum and mint tray cabinet bracket in order to install the new cabinet bracket in its place. Unscrew the old bracket from its position on the wall behind the gum tray shelf. Vertically position it to the guide rail left of the channel. While holding the bracket in place, drill a 1/8 inch hole through the original screw hole and the back of the machine. Screw it into place with one of the self-tapping Phillips screws provided in the kit. Then, slide the new tray halfway into the machine. Position and attach the connector from the machine to the connector on the back of the tray. Remove the remaining backings from the 2 pieces of double-sided tape, then glide the gum tray fully into position. Apply pressure to the tray. Slide the tray back out of the machine and briefly move it out of the way. While carefully holding the bracket, drill 2 1/8 inch size holes, each in opposite corners from one another, through existing holes in the bracket and the back of the machine. Take 2 Phillips screws and use them to securely attach the connector to the back of the machine. Close the machine door. Look at the spacing between the drop bucket and the new gum tray to determine whether the gap is too large and needs shims added, or is too tight and needs shims removed. Pull the gum tray out and locate the 4 screws at the back of the right-hand motor. Use a Phillips screwdriver to loosen these 4 screws. If the gap is too large, take the provided shims and mount them, one on each side, between the back of the tray and the mounting bracket. Tighten the 4 screws. Repeat if necessary. If the door fits too tight, remove 1 shim on each side. Tighten the 4 screws. Repeat again if necessary. Replace the 2 other bottom trays. Installing product pushers on your new gum and mint trays. These product pushers need to be installed on every spiral except for the spiral for the Breath Savers product. The product pusher should be attached between 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock when the spiral is in its standard position. Simply snap the product pusher to the inside of the spiral. Load your new gum and mint tray with the suggested products. You will use one of the 2 provided pricing labels on your machine. Open the vending machine and clean the dust off the inside wall of the drop bucket closest to you. Position the label as shown. Remove the backing and adhere the label to the top of the inside bucket. Apply pressure. Use the provided price labels and stick each one to the provided spaces next to the product numbers. The installation of the 7-wide gum and mint tray for AP snack machines is complete. Proceed to plug in and turn on your machine to test vend the new gum and mint tray. Troubleshooting. For the AP123B and 123C, since your new tray already has the harness and factory plug installed, you should be able to simply slide the new tray into place. However, since there is variation between machines, it may be necessary to adjust the plug mount bracket up and down by applying enough pressure to slightly bend it so that a good connection is made with the cabinet plug.